How you doing, YouTube family? Today is Thursday, May the 15th, 2025. Is your man Big D, and I'm back with another one. Want to thank all you good folk out there in YouTube land for continuing to rock out with my son and I. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Well, family, hot off the press, my man Tory Lanez, this good young brother. There's some new evidence that's saying that this man did not do anything to Meg the Stallion. This man ain't do nothing, didn't even have no firearm in his possession. And yet and still, law enforcement did such a shoddy, shitty job and botched up the investigation. People that was present inside the vehicle, DNA samples wasn't taken from them. Man, it was a botched up investigation from the beginning. And this good brother got sent up the road for 10 years on some bullshit. All behind motherfucking Meg the Stallion telling a big ass lie. She want to protect her money. She want to protect her career. But you know what, family? I ain't gonna let's go ahead and get to this.
All right, welcome back in here to Live and Now from Fox. I'm Andy Mack. Let's turn our attention to new developments involving Tory Lanez after a stabbing at a California prison. We do know the alleged attacker. More information here. This courtesy of TMZ, saying the guy who allegedly attacked and stabbed Tory Lanez in prison is serving a life sentence for a murder charge, and this wasn't his first violent incident behind bars. The alleged attacker was identified by authorities as 42-year-old Santino Casio. Prison officials say he's serving a life sentence for second-degree murder and was previously convicted for an in-prison assault with a deadly weapon. So we're following the latest here on Live Now from Fox, and we're also learning more information about new evidence being brought forward in this case involving Tory Lanez. And we watched it here on Wednesday as the legal team sought justice in the case of Tory Lanez. They presented new evidence that suggests he never fired the weapon the night Megan Thee Stallion was shot in the Hollywood Hills. Lanez is currently serving a 10-year sentence for the shooting. The legal team alleges she lied about what happened the night she was lost. So let's take you right now out to some of these details here on Live Now from Fox from Los Angeles earlier on today about this new evidence being presented. We'll see if it has any legs in the courts. Let's listen into this here on Live Now.
Here, some really, really compelling new evidence that you've never heard before. Our legal team will explain all of that to you. We will have updates on Tory Lanez, Mr. Peterson, on how he's doing. It's really sad to see the situation that he's in, and we think it's time. Enough is enough. It's time to bring the brother home. So with that, I would like to bring up our lead consultant, Mr. Walter Roberts.
Good morning. We are here today to bring to your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, professionally known as Tory Lanez. Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gascon, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell. Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf. The District Attorney's Office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out, but given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. The passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is Unite the People's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a crime scene like that, anybody who's there, the DNA is taken. Another irregularity. Why, at Ms. Harris's police interview, was a non-lawyer, non-family member record company executive allowed to participate? Highly irregular situation. Normally, we see cases, strangers are not allowed in these things, but it was in this case. All of these things point to the highly irregular nature of his trial and his conviction. It is our contention that he was wrongly convicted. And while we at first were willing to let the process play out, it is our contention now that if he is not pardoned or released promptly, he may never come out. And that would be the ultimate injustice, is that he gets killed in prison for something he did not do. At this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Gianno Caldwell, the media member who was working on that op-ed for the New York Post. Thank you.
So family, y'all heard that? Bring this young man home. ASA fucking P. You know, our society is so credulous that we are so quick to believe a woman's words and be damned what the evidence says. So you have evidence, like the good attorney said, you got evidence that was taken, and was it submitted Was it submitted for testing? Or did they submit it for testing and it showed that this young brother ain't had nothing to do with his DNA was nowhere near on the firearm? Man, this was a setup from the very beginning. You know how much of a low down dirty dog you gotta be to lie on somebody and say they did something to you of that egregious nature, knowing that the real MF that did it to you is getting off scot free for whatever the reason. You lying for because you don't want to have no problems. You don't want to mess, I guess, the record label, the look. It's all about you. You don't give a fuck about this man. You gave two shits about this man. Not only, man, thank God for whoever this bodyguard is, man, driver or whatnot, the brother, the eyewitness, man, the witness and whatnot. Thank God for this good brother having the wherewithal to do the right thing. And as he said, his conscience would not allow him to let a man potentially, possibly die in prison for something he ain't even do. Man, goddamn, not they. Oh, listen, it ain't about the money. Cause no doubt that when this young man get out and he recover from his injuries and recover from your injuries, young brother, so that when it come time for your civil lawsuit and that civil litigation, we'll be strong and ready to fight that good fight and go get your money. Go get your paper. Cause they violated your rights. And they had all types of exculpatory evidence. They just said, fuck it, we ain't even gonna introduce it. Cause we gonna railroad this dude all because Meg the Stallion wanna tell a damn lie. But you know what? While this man been fucking rotting away in prison, her ass been out here just still being her. You know what I'm saying? At all these goddamn events while she sent the innocent man to prison. Man, do you know what type of motherfucker you gotta be to do that? You gotta be one selfish, fucked up person to do that. What did that man ever do to you? What family? What did he ever do to her to deserve that? And the real miscarriage of justice is this. I guarantee you that if this young brother does get out, if they reopen this thing back up and look at it, because this is some crucial exculpatory evidence. It has to be researched and it has to be looked at. So if they look at it, they find that was some bullshit amiss, then somebody got to be held accountable. But they ain't gonna hold nobody accountable. They ain't gonna hold Meg the Stallion accountable. And if the criminal justice system won't hold her accountable, then we as the community, the black community, the same community that she came from, the same community that this young man came from, we got to hold her responsible. And you ladies, y'all better not come with that bullshit trying to dodge accountability. You better not come with the bullshit making up all these excuses for this sister trying to skirt the fact that she lied. I don't give a damn how you want to slice it up and dice it up. She lied. And the fact of the matter of it is this is a message must be sent. A message must be sent, and not just a monetary message, not just a financial message, because I am certain that this young man gonna file a civil lawsuit. And then his next stop is now we gonna sue your ass too, Meg. So while you was out here making all that money, running free, going to all these events, not giving a fuck about how my life was while I was fucking rotting away, wasting away on some bullshit that I ain't even do. Oh, I'm gonna need a little bit of that. We gonna bring a suit against you too. We gonna bring a suit against you, and by way of that lawsuit, we are going to extract our monies. I'm gonna get yeah, that young brother gonna get his bread one way or another. You know, family is one thing to it's one thing if let's hypothetically say, you know what I'm saying, this young brother had a bad night, whatnot. Let's say he did shoot her, right? And you know, we have to say, man, bro, you crashed out. You got to get what you get. But for an innocent man who ain't do nothing, who potentially saved her, because from what I understand, he hit the girl arm and hit somebody arm. So he potentially saved her life, truth be told. This young brother, he the one that gets screwed. He the one that get effed over. Man, all because you know, they want everything will come out of woman's mouth. It must be true. It must be fight. But time and time again, we see that these women are lying. And young brothers, men are getting fucked, getting effed over by the system. I just don't know what that man could have done to her to deserve this. And then, you know, the crazy thing about it. So when as the lawyer said, they reached out to all the parties involved to make them aware of, hey, we got this new evidence. We got a witness, solid witness. Heard it all. Nobody else responded except Meg's team. And coincidentally enough, they saying, you know, this young man getting stabbed 14 times. He getting shanked 14 times. So sounds to me like that was a hit put out on that young man's life. So not only do you lie, you go in court, you swear the whole to tell the truth and hold nothing but the truth. You go on these interviews and crying, I can't believe he did this and then this, and you lied on this man. And all you women, y'all rolled out with that shit. What y'all gonna say? Y'all gonna hold him accountable? I'll wait, but I won't hold my breath. Even though this man ain't do a damn thing to deserve this, he will not be held accountable. If she's held accountable, I will be surprised. I tell you what, let the courts hold her accountable and she gets some time. I bet her ass won't make it. I'm glad this young brother is recovering well. My prayers are with the family because I would never be the one to admit that I would never not be the one to admit that our criminal justice system is flawed and it's effed up. Yeah, some of us were a part of that criminal justice system and retired from it, but all you could do, all a person can do is try to make the small changes that they can. But the system is so big that good brothers like this, Tory Lanez, he gets fucked by the system. He get railroaded by the system, all because of some bullshit, all based on the foundation of a lie. When you had all the evidence you needed at that crime scene to extract the truth and to bring to light what really happened and hold those people accountable. But instead of doing that, you will give Meg Thee Stallion a fucking pass And this man almost lost his life based on a damn lie. Well, family, always remember, be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Peace.